Shout out to USARK and all USARK members. If you don't know what USARK is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what USARK is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a USARK member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with USARK organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a USARK member. And if you can't become a USARK member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what USARK is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every USARK member and USARK supporter out there.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world, episode 631 on the Tree Tuesdays. Lisa of Dark Garden Herpculture tapping in with us. She's going to be in here about 30 minutes later, but you know what? We have stuff to talk about with the boys tonight. Bill Stiegel, Phoenix Reptiles, and Marshall fucking Mendez. What a weekend.
What's up?
Marshall Mendez.
Listen, I just think there's people who deserve championship belts in this hobby. And when it comes to partying, Marshall Mendez has the championship belt, bro. This guy is a beast, okay?
So he took my belt? I don't have the belt anymore?
3 days of fish is not easy, dude. And he did it like it was a walk in the park. How you feeling, Marshall?
Not good.
Not good.
No, man, 3 days. I noticed like doing all the walking at the airport yesterday, like my legs, because like where we were standing was on like a slope.
Yeah.
3 days of standing on a slope plus walking, up all those hills. Man, like my legs started to like feel like jello at the airport yesterday when I was walking.
Marshall, one time after a Northeast Carpet Fest in Philadelphia,
I
got a wheelchair in the airport. That's how bad it was. I got one of those wheelchair people pushing me around right straight through security and everything. It was epic.
Wow.
It was epic.
I wasn't quite there, but today when my alarm went off at 6 o'clock, it was not pleasant, to say the least.
I asked MJ before you came on if you had to go to work today, and he confirmed that you did.
Dude.
Yep, that's what happens when you don't get much vacation. You gotta make them all count. So
he did. Yeah, and I want to thank you again, Marshall. I had the time of my life Saturday. I'm not gonna lie, it was the best.
Nice.
I'm not a big concert guy, but I have been to a few, and that one just blew all of them out of the water, bro. So thank you again. I had a blast. It was so much fun.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you can make it. Now we just gotta get Bill to one.
Bill, you would love it. Bill, you would fucking love it. I know you.
Don't forget all about Disturbed after that. He would have come with us.
Listen, I'm not a big concert goer either, but I went to back-to-back weeks concerts the last 2 weeks, and so yeah, I get it. I feel like I was there, like in spirit at least.
For sure. But Marshall, let's kind of get to what you came home to. Everything okay? I know how it is leaving the club. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, everything was fine, man. All the snakes were fine. I got a bunch of poops to clean, but I'm gonna do that after the show.
Oh, no.
And then everything. Then back to try to get back on the routine this week and feed everything Thursday and. What else? The rodents, since I've downsized, I didn't even have to worry about having my son fill the water buckets up. Came home and everything was fine in there. So yeah, I've got it down pretty well now when I'm going out of town. The protocol leading up to it, the previous few weeks.
Yeah, is this a recent photo of the albino?
Yeah, I think that's the most recent one I posted.
Yeah. And how's this been going overall? I mean, it seems like nothing but good progress every time we mention it. So
Yeah, it's doing good, man. Just shed, just it's been doing great.
and as far as the other hatchlings go that you had this year, what's the update? Do you have any ones that are straggling still? How many assist feeds?
Oh yeah,
What's going on?
yeah. I've got about 15 or 16, 17 left out of 22. So I've lost 4 or so, and of the however many, I think I've got 11 of them eating, like they're on their 3rd or 4th, 5th meal by now, and the rest of them are still on their, probably third or 4th assist feed. But they're all still striking, and I think it's just a matter of time. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Keep us updated with that. And Bill, obviously you've got, quite the load that you're establishing right now. And I know things been working out. Last time we talked, as far as you just going gizzard route. Is that the same game plan since last week? Are you still offering gizzards to the fresh hatchlings?
Yeah, I've pretty much decided I'm going to go completely gizzards until they're big enough to take an ASF pink. And I've got probably about 5 or 6 that just did that this week, like 3rd or 4th meal. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like Marshall. I've got 40 neos on the ground, probably 5 that I would say are, being assist fed. I had 1 small prolapse on a really small neo that I don't know if it's going to make it or not. I'm about to just give it over to Al and say, hey man, working with this thing. I tried to offer it. It was time for it to eat again. It prolapsed like 2 weeks ago. It was small. I tried to feed it today. It didn't eat. Obviously still perches out. But all in all things considered, it's going as expected, so things are good. 40 neos in the rack, 20 eggs in the incubator. So we'll just see how the last, 5 weeks turn out. That'll determine a lot, on the hatch rate on these last 20.
Me and Marshall were talking this weekend, and we were kind of talking about the gizzards. Well, I was like, do you think it'd be smart to maybe douse some of these gizzards with some calcium powder, like just to add like maybe an additional piece of nutrition? But I mean, to think about it, the way this body part is, isn't that part of the meat carrying stuff, whatever that the animal's eating? Like, I think, isn't there probably more nutrients in the gizzard than we think there is, because of like these gizzards coming from adult chickens? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's plenty of calcium in a chicken gizzard. I'm not worried about like supplementing the gizzard at all. I think it's got everything that they need. This is the 3rd season of using the chicken gizzards, and I haven't had any, bad repercussions that I can tell so far of feeding them a high chicken gizzard diet, especially early on. The 1 prolapse I had, offered it a chicken gizzard, great, no problem. Second meal, offered it a small pink, and it prolapsed after that meal. So
wow.
I've just decided I'm going to just go, pretty much exclusively chicken gizzards here for the first 5 meals, and then get them overeating something a little bit bigger. I still can't get over the fact when I look at an ASF pink, a 2-day-old pink, and it's got fur on it. It's amazing. When you look at a large mouse pink that still has absolutely nothing on it at all. I'm luckily Alex is producing ASFs now, and I think he can, provide as many of the pinks that I need. And between that, Cold Blooded Cafe, getting me some pinks, some ASF pinks, should be good there. So that's going to be my route this year.
Yeah, I got a bag of 250 day-old ASFs in my freezer.
No kidding. Where'd you get that?
A buddy of mine who plugged me up with my new colony that I have, he asked me, he's like, hey, I have these in my freezer. Do you want you want them at this price? And I was like, fuck yeah, are you kidding me? And so he brought me 2 Ziploc bags of fucking day-old ASF pinks. Like, they're just like mice pink, but with hair, like you said. They're like little mice pinks. It's crazy. Maybe slightly a little bigger, but like maybe
They're definitely bigger. Like a new hatchling chondro, at least in my experience, can't eat a ASF pink yet. It's too big.
But pretty quickly, right? I would say maybe after second, third meal, it would be fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. You know, some of my bigger neos after 3 gizzards, they ate an ASF pink. Some of my smaller neos, you know, it could be 6, 7 meals before they're big enough to eat an ASF pink. But as long as the gizzard's okay, man, I'm in no rush.
Yeah, we always forget that, you know, these are tiny chondros when they come out of eggs, but they are different size. Like some are bigger than the others. So that's another thing to consider. Check it out. Lisa's already in the background, so we don't have to fucking wait too much longer. That's great. So, all right. We normally don't ask what's going on with MJ, but who wants to ask me what's going on?
Yeah, I was going to ask. Has anything exciting happened since the last time we were on?
I think the world knows what's going on with
I wasn't sure. I thought I remembered something.
Yeah, so I can finally say I had my very first Emerald Tree Boa litter, a successful litter, you know what I mean, from my northern Emerald Tree Boa, Bianca, who was paired to Ryan's Pure Miss Willie line. So that's, you know, I was cool. But either way, it all happened unexpectedly. I'm literally in my room, you know, just kind of enjoying, getting ready for the weekend because I'm about to go link up with Marshall. And then, you know, I just look at my female was acting restless all day. Like, actually, the day before that, remember I sent a picture of what she pushed out, all the urates? Remember, I was like, yo, what is this? So I thought she was just clearing herself out before the big show in a few weeks. But no, sure enough, that was that waxy poop that every experienced Emerald Tree Boa breeder tells you that's what happens. So when she did that, she started acting restless, almost grounding herself. And I was kind of worried. I was like, oh, great, here we go again. And so as I see that her body's basically touching the floor, I get like a little Sterilite tub just to kind of give her some support. And I call Chris Rice right away. And I'm like, Chris, this isn't good, man. And he's like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's not good. He's like, is she having contractions? And I'm like, looking. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, wait, hold on. And I could see her tail like about to shake, right? And then I'm looking. I'm like, well, dude, her cloaca's kind of like it's moving. And so I'm like, dude, I think something's happening. And as soon as I said something's happening, that little goo, like a goo comes out of the cloaca. And I'm like, bro, I was like, she's delivering. And I'm on the phone with Chris Rice. And sure enough, the first one comes out, which came out a little deformed, had like a web stomach or something like that. I don't know what. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh, you know, fuck, it's going to give us a bunch of freaks, you know, like a bunch of things I have to put in the freezer basically. But I didn't care. I was still excited that it was happening on its own. And so sure enough, she just 10 minutes later, they all started coming out. And so, yeah, it was awesome. And so I ended up getting 9 live. One of them had that web one, which I still have it, but I'm going to have to put it down, unfortunately. And then I lost 2. Due to a stomach, like I think they prolapsed their stomach or something. I thought it was like the fact that like a ball python or a chondro, you know, that yolk sac that we tie off at times, you know what I mean? I thought it had something to do with that, but apparently, dude, that was like stomach or had to do with the insides where
it wasn't the yolk. It was something else.
Yeah, it was something that it needed, I think. And so, but I got advice from at least more than half the people I asked to tie that off because they said that's not, they told me that's either going to fall off on its own or like something. And so I just went with the route of tying it off, which I think next time I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm just going to put it in its own individual thing and let fucking God take the wheel and whatever happens. But I definitely think for sure tying that off fucking killed them because that very next day they were dead. So, but yeah, I don't.
So you ended up with six viable neos.
7.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's pretty good, man.
My bad.
Congrats. You've been.
Excuse me, 6. You're right. My bad. The 7th is the one that I have to put down. So yeah, 6. I would say 6 healthy, good neos that I'm happy with for sure.
And are they all still together, or have you separated them?
No, they're all still together. I'm gonna probably put them away tomorrow. And get them all. I got perches being sent to me right now, so they're all gonna have their own individual like fucking cool perch like they're on. I might actually, to be honest, I might even just keep them in the Cambro tub. I might take out the males or whatever raised ups I have here and just might put them in the Cambro tub setup because I don't know. I like that setup. So, but yeah, I'm gonna figure it out tomorrow. But yeah, that's
nice.
Very
well deserved. I know you've been through the ringer on those.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it is what it is, you know. But as long as you don't give up, you know, you eventually get something. And yeah, I'm just glad it worked out. So, listen, go ahead.
Plus all your females chondros that have ovulated. That's insane.
Yeah, so we have, and that's here we go. We have that work yet to come to see what the fuck happens there. I'm
All
waiting
your bad luck is going to be made up, but just in one season.
Yeah, well, it's kind of how it works, I guess, or it doesn't.
Yeah.
We'll find out sooner or later. As Gary says, shut up, MJ, stop talking about it. All right, well, listen, Lisa's in the background. She's ready to rock and roll. You ready to bring her on or what? Because I'm excited for tonight's guest. She's awesome.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
All right, guys, you guys are in for a treat. This is Lisa from Dark Garden Herpetoculture coming at you, episode 631. Do what you got to do to get your mind right. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated. Let's go.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
And we're live, episode 631 with Lisa, Dark Garden Herpetoculture. New name. That's a newer name.
I don't really go by it. I got it. I vended a few times last year,
Yeah.
so I had to do the sales license and
Oh,
everything.
so you gotta have a name.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Marshall.
How are you?
Hey, Bill. I feel kind of nervous talking to you guys on here.
What? No way.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like an imposter, kind of. A little bit of imposter syndrome.
Too much testosterone.
No, not that. I like testosterone. I like dudes.
Lisa thinks she doesn't carry the weight to be on this segment, which is crazy to me. She's bred white-lip pythons multiple times. She just had her first chondro clutch, which is all the babies are doing great, which we're going to get into. But dude, Lisa, you deserve this slot for sure, 100%. Yeah, we're excited to have you. But what's going on with you? How's everything going? I know you just rushed off of work and got here, right?
Yeah, I worked really hard today to be here.
Oh, wow. What do you do for a living, Lisa? Remind me.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay,
Nothing
cool.
exciting.
You can do that. That's fine.
I love it.
How big's your collection now?
As far as green tree pythons, I have
Everything. No, I want to hear it all. I want to know what.
Oh, I have so I have 2 male Biocs, 1 female Bioc that I'm growing up.
Mhm.
I have a pair of Arus. I have a Wayego male, and I have another male that I bought him as an Aru, but I kind of think he's like a cross of some sort, but unknown. And then I have my Southerns, 1.2 Southern white lips, and then I have 1.2 Northern white lips that I'm growing up. I have 1.2 carpet pythons, I have a few ball pythons.
What? I didn't know that.
I have.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to breed them, and I'm not, and I'm failing.
my golly. So you know I can help you with that.
Well, I don't know. I think it's just the female. She's like, she'll start to build and then she says, no, I don't want to go, and then it reabsorbs. But anyways, what else do I have? Oh, I'm raising up a pair of ring pythons.
Ooh, that's
that I
cool.
really like.
Who are those from?
I got those from Mark Miles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
He's bred
I had a pair of those in the past. They're really cool.
Speaking of Mark Miles, I'm really excited because I just got my ticket to the Reptile Talks.
Oh, cool.
So he's going to be there giving a presentation.
Oh, badass.
So is Uncle Mike. I know Uncle Mike's going to be there.
Yep. I'm going to meet Mike. Yeah, it should be really cool.
And John from Sin Container.
Yep. And Ari. I've never met Ari.
Ari's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then so I think that's it. That's all my. I do also have a pair of bull snakes, but I'm not planning on breeding those. They're mainly just like when some male python is acting like they don't want to eat, I'll feed the bull snakes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I use mine for as well. Garbage disposals.
Where'd you get your chondros, Lisa?
They're all imports.
Nice. Wow.
I can tell you the whole history of
Let's do it.
the first time I ever saw like really cool snakes was at the Sacramento Reptile Show in 2015. I had no intention of getting any snakes, but I was walking by DM Exotics table and I saw, I can't remember which one I saw first. I saw like a little yellow baby or a little red baby, and I was like, whoa, what is that? And then I saw the other color and I was like, that's the same thing. And then I saw an adult and I'm like, all those are the same animal. And it kind of blew my mind. The babies were just like so beautiful, especially. I think it was just the babies that I was just like, I had no idea that that's what they looked like when they were babies. And then I started researching, and everything said get ball pythons, they're easier. Green tree pythons die. And I did. I got a ball python, then I got a carpet python, and then I got a green tree python from Harlan Wall. And it was a little yellow Neo Aru. And
is it still alive? I'm curious.
yeah, still alive. It was a little feisty thing, ate fine. I kept it. I originally kept it in a little tub exactly the way he told me. Like he told me what to do, and I went out and I bought the exact. He showed me a picture, set it up in something like this, and I went and I bought the exact tub, did the exact water bowl. I did everything exactly like he said, and I sent him a picture, and he's all, "I can't believe you did what I told you."
He's not used to that.
Yeah, and originally, so then I got I got a couple imports, Beox from DM Exotic. Whoa, actually, that's not true. So then I tried to get one from Triple L, and they mailed me a snake that was like half dead. Like it had stuck shed. I never could get the shed off of it, and it didn't live. I took it to the vet. It was like a tiny neonate, and like now I'm like, that was such a waste of trying to bring a neonate to the vet, because that thing was like on death's door by the time I got it to the vet.
Yeah.
But so I ordered some Beox from Bushmaster, and Cameron's like, because you have to order you have to spend a certain amount of money. So I ordered 3 Beox from him, and I told him I didn't care what color they were as long as I got one of each color. So he sent me 2 reds and 1 yellow, and they were very, very small. I don't know if they had ever eaten, but I struggled with those. I did get one to finally eat, but the other 2 I was never able to get to eat. And this was like, I was very new. Like I did not know what I was doing, but I tried everything. I tried, I went down to the Asian market, and I was like, they had bullfrogs swimming around in this aquarium, this tank, and I'm like, I need one of those bullfrogs. I tried like bullfrogs. I tried chick scent, and I couldn't get them to eat. The one that I finally got to eat, I often would feed my dog boiled chicken liver as like a treat.
Yeah.
And one day I was like, let me see if they'll eat this boiled chicken liver. And I just sliced a little chunk of it off, and it was like the little guy was like, finally, you give me something that I want. He just like, I had never seen him act like that. They were the kind that would just tuck their head.
Yeah.
Like put the food and they just tuck their head, and you couldn't get any type of reaction, no tongue flicks. But as soon as I showed him the chicken liver, it was like game on. He turned. In fact, I didn't even show it to him. He turned his head when he got a whiff of it.
And you offered it to him pretty warm, right? Like it was kind of, you say you just boiled it?
Yeah, I dipped it in like hot water.
Yeah, I'm sure that it creates some sort of smell. I mean, just like anything, like when you cut open
boiled chicken liver does not smell good.
Yeah, it has that. Animals have a smell like when it's all bare bone or bare skin like that. You know what I mean? And the meat. So, and I'm curious. So with that experience that you had with those, let's kind of take that into how it went establishing your very first clutch that you just had. And before we even get to that female that gave you that first clutch, Lisa, she was one of the first chondros you started collecting, or how long have you had that on route for?
So all the babies that I collected and all the in the unsexed juveniles, they all turned out to be males. So I had like a collection of 5 males for a really long time.
God.
Until finally, Lucas Lee, he had an Aru female that was a long time captive import, and he it was old, and it had been, I was like the fifth person that was her keeper.
Yeah.
And I got her, and originally I kept all my chondros in the bathroom, so like it would stay nice and warm in there, and I was just doing ambient and keeping them in the glass exoterra like enclosures. And I paired her with my Aru male, and they would breed all the time. And she would start to get like, she's like a really good eater. She would start to eat, and then she'd start to get thick, and then I would put the male with her, and then she would go off food and not breed and not eat for like 2 months. And then she'd go back to normal, and then she'd be like, okay, I'll start eating again. And then she did that with me. She would go through this like 3 to 4 month cycle where I would think, oh, she's going to go now, like she wants to go, because she loves to breed, but she just will go off food and not want to ovulate. And so I wanted to get them out of my bathroom. So I got them some 2x2s and put them in with my other snakes. And they have heat panels. And I built her a nice enclosure in my the one behind me. It's like a 3x4.
Right.
3x4x2. And she lives in there. And I put this young Aru male in there with her, and he never was interested in her, but I started feeding her. I was always feeding her mice, because I kind of heard that like you don't want to feed them rats.
Is that him, by the way, or no?
That's the little Aru male that wouldn't breed with her.
Okay, but now we're talking about a different male.
Yeah. The male that actually bred with her is the one that I bought as an Aru, and like I talked with Patrick Holmes about him, and he doesn't. I sent you a picture of his tail. The thing about him is he when he was a baby, he kind of looked like an Aru. He has more of that Aru type pattern. He doesn't have like the how like the yellow sarongs and the yellow Jaipuras, they have like this stripe down the back, kind of, you know what I'm talking about. He had the little flowers, and but his tail was always a little too.
This one?
Yeah, his tail is just it's not an Aru tail. It's just a little too pointy. Like, I want to see a stub on a Aru.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was an Aru.
Thing about him that doesn't look like an Aru to me is he doesn't have that dark, like Arus usually have a really, like, they're green and then they have this dark green stripe down their back.
Got it.
Look at an Aru.
So
he doesn't have that. He has more of a uniform green.
What's the guess that's Patrick or whatever you guys are coming up with?
We're kind of thinking maybe, well, there's no way to actually really know. We're just guessing. So, but I was thinking sarong, but who knows? Who knows?
Was that one of the Bushmasters?
Yeah, that's him. So he's a great breeder. I took the little male. So this time when so to go back, I finally got her to ovulate. I moved her into this enclosure, and I fed her rats, and so finally by feeding her rats, I got her to ovulate.
Yeah.
And that she bred a lot with that this male right here. His name's Beloved. So her name's Fiona, and that's Beloved. And Beloved just will go straight to her and, you know, like stay with her. They cuddle and they breed all the time. And so she ovulated and she laid a slug clutch. And this was like last February. Not this February, the February before.
This was an ovulation that she slugged out, or is this an ovulation?
No, that was this year. I didn't send you any of the previous years. It looked exactly the same. I couldn't tell any difference between the two. She laid 21 slugs. A few of them were like had faint veins, and one even like died right at the end. I cut it open and there was a little yellow, not fully formed, but it was mostly formed. It didn't absorb its yolk and it died. Oh, wow. So there was one good egg. I don't know. I kind of suspect that the reason why she did that, she laid the, I'm turning all red. Guys, I'm going through the change of life.
Okay, you're good.
Me too, Lisa. That's so
weird. Me three.
Anyways,
we're all going through menopause.
It's really hot in here. I think it's just. But anyways, I think I'm wondering if it's from all those like 2 years prior of swelling up and reabsorbing and swelling up and reabsorbing that made her follicle, like maybe that's why she laid slugs, because her body condition, she's not fatter or skinnier in the 2 years. She has pretty similar body condition. So I don't think was caused by her being too fat. I think it had something to do with all those years of her swelling up and me trying to breed her.
Do you know? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was pretty much done.
I was just, I was wondering if the female, do you know the history on her? She's got a lot of white on her. Has she been in captivity since a baby? Or no. What? Okay.
She has scars, like,
okay.
Side of her face is like scars. She has like this big black blotch on the side of her face. She has chunks out of her, she's old too. She has chunks out of her tail. She has a fatty like tumor, like a little cyst kind of near her cloaca. And I always wondered if maybe that had something to do with it, but I was also worried that maybe that would get in the way of her having her laying her eggs. But yeah, she's wild caught, and I'm pretty sure she came in as an adult.
Okay. That would make sense because she looks like the typical wild caught Aru, and the male looks like a typical captive bred.
When I first got her, I should have found some pictures of when I first got her. She looks different from when I first got her because she's gotten a lot of like black on her, not in like the way that bill snakes have black, but she almost looks like she has like smudges, like someone smudged soot on her. And I think it started from last year when she got her first clutch, she got darker, and then this time she's even darker. And that vertical stripe that the Arus get, it's like it's gotten really dark, almost like a black, but it's not black in the way like black. It's like someone took like a crayon and colored it in, and you can kind of still see her color. But yeah, she's gotten a lot darker.
Maybe it just took her some time to like settle in, and she was just better conditioned. The second time you bred her.
Yeah,
that's an awesome looking pile of eggs.
Yeah, she laid 11 months later. She didn't even go a whole year.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I think that food had a lot to do with it too. Giving her that extra food. If she's a snake that size,
she's a big girl. Yeah, she's big.
She's bigger. She was probably being fed rats before she actually landed with you, or like who knows what she was actually.
Yeah, she was eating something that could claw off half of her face.
Probably. And I'm curious, like that time you were offering her rats, that was when she was getting locks, or was it before she was getting paired up? Were you giving her rats?
Usually I start feeding heavy before I start breeding.
Yeah.
Because I should mention that so the same year that she laid the slug clutch, I had another a female Biak that I was raising up, and I got her as a yellow. She was still yellow. She only had a little bit of green on her. She's pretty small. I raised her for 3 years, and then I tried to breed her. And I always thought that after the experience with Fiona of her not going, I just assumed that if this animal wasn't ready to go, she wouldn't go. And what happened was I paired her with the male. They locked up, and then she went off food. And I thought, okay, well, she's not going to go, because that's what Fiona always would do. She locks up and then goes off food and then reabsorbs her follicles.
Yeah.
This little female, she just went off food, and then she started to build her follicles, and she started getting thinner and thinner. And it's like her head, she started looking like emaciated, like her head got sunken in. Yeah. And by the time she ovulated, it was really bad. It killed, like when she ovulated, she died within 24 hours. Like she ovulated and then started like
going downhill.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Yeah, we were just talking to Tim this weekend, and about his female was literally ovulating, and then she just fucking hit the floor gasping for air and just died. And it's
that's kind of what it was like. So I was like, I'm never gonna breed a female unless I'm like, she's nice and thick, and she can if she goes off food, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
With the white lips, when I breed them, I feed them the whole time. I just feed them a few times, and then I put the male in, and they eat the whole time. Like it could take 3 months of me like giving them food and breeding and giving food and breeding. But
they eat through like their gestation period?
No, once they ovulate, they go up. Like once, like about 5 days before they ovulate, they'll start refusing food.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an uncommon story. I mean, to hear the females ovulating and dying, or laying and then dying. I mean, it just seems like it's
And then in hindsight, you look back and you're like, well, I made the mistake. She should have been older. Her body conditions should have been better before I even let the male near her.
How old was that female? Do you know how old she was?
My guess is she was 4, but maybe she was younger. I got her. You know how Biaks, they can be yellow, but they can be. I don't know how old it was. It was small, but it wasn't like it wasn't a neo. It was.
I know some people have had success breeding small chondros. I know Mark Hager is a classic example. I think he had a female that was 500 grams or less.
Yeah, and I was really anxious, all these years of having all these boys, and finally I have some girls, and I was like, well, they can go when they're small, but I'm kind of out of that camp after that happened.
I think they can go if they're small but old. Like there's a difference in a small 5-year-old and a small 3-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maturity's everything.
when she did that, it was almost like she was growing follicles and still growing her body. Like it was like too much. It wasn't ready. So I forgot why I went back and told you that story, but so I had that experience, and so I know why, because I was talking about feeding.
Right.
So I start feeding her before. So I start once I get the impression that the female is like really hungry, like Fiona's really cool. Like I'll go in and like rearrange the plants, move stuff around, pick up poop. You know, I never worry about her trying to bite me, but she bit me. Like I wasn't even looking at her because she never does. And she came out from nowhere and got me right on the hand. And that's just shows like there's something going on with her. And so I had the younger male in with her, and she was like eating and getting big, and he was like hiding under the plant. And I'm like, I have to get Beloved back in here, because I knew Beloved would go to town and like say hello right away, and he did.
Yeah. And so how many locks did you witness till you saw an ovulation and all that? Like what were you witnessing when it did go
I want to say 3, but I know at least 2. And they actually locked the day before she ovulated.
Oh, wow.
And so this clutch, it wasn't a perfect clutch either. I got 1 slug, and then there was 19 eggs, and 19 of the eggs, about 3 of the eggs, I saw absolutely no veins. And then there was a few of the eggs that had like very faint veins. And all those eggs with the no veins and faint veins, they all very quickly molded and died. Like within a week, like a week or 10 days.
And did you put those separate from the good eggs, or did you put everything together?
I put them, what I did was I put some in one. I set up 2 egg boxes.
Yeah.
I set up one with vermiculite, and then one with the just the water, and they're in sim boxes. So one I just set, with the sim method, with the water and no substrate. But I struggle. So my incubator is just one of those coolibators, and I actually made it as the way Daniel Solstice, I think is his name.
Damon Solstice, yeah.
Yeah. I went and looked at he has a video on how he builds his. And so I built it how he builds his. But I was having trouble with I used from the vermiculite, I used I think I did 3-to-1. I can't remember, but I think my vermiculite was too dry. And also my eggs they started denting really fast. Like they were all denting pretty quickly. And I remember listening to Bill around the same time talking about his, and I was like kind of stressed out about it. So the ones that were in the no substrate, I took them out of there because those ones were dimpling the fastest and the most, and I put them in vermiculite. And I think the thing is if you try to do a recipe with a vermiculite, it depends on if you get moist. You know, when you open up a bag, the vermiculite could be moist already, or it could be really dry. And I think mine was really dry. So I don't have that like intuition of just like, oh, this is moist enough, you know. So I think I made it too dry.
Okay. So
3-to-1 is pretty light on the water. Seems like most of the time it's 1-to-1. But yeah, and I did the vermiculite this year, and I did a little less. I think I did like 90.9 to 1.0 or something like that. And
you just want to err on the side of being too dry than too wet, because it's easier to
Correct.
Add a little more water rather than
Yeah.
having them get all moldy and wet.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do different next time, Lisa?
I would try to make sure it's a little moisture. I do like using the vermiculite, but I think the one thing I didn't like is when they started to hatch, it was getting on the babies. So as soon as they started to hatch, I took them out and I put them all in one together with just moist paper towel. And the other thing is, so that that garden fencing stuff, what I did with that, and maybe this is part of the reason why they dried out, because I put that over it and then I would just put a little paper towel over that so that if anything dripped, it would just land on the paper towel instead of on the eggs.
Oh, okay.
That's why that's in there. Not because I thought they were going to hatch like right away. I was ready for them to hatch.
You're worried about droplets happening very soon? Like
because so I think that the coulibators, they're not very I think you get a lot of condensation because like at night when the room gets cooler, I think they cool that, they're not as stable as like a refrigerator or a
commercial
incubator.
Because I have trouble with also when I incubate the white lips and the ball pythons and the carpet pythons all in those coulibators. And I've had trouble with the condensation and also with the dimpling a little sooner than what I think most people expect them to dimple.
So, but you're still comfortable using that system of incubating your eggs, or do you feel like you're going to switch it up and get like EOS?
I do want to get a new incubator, and because it's like kind of a pain in the ass, the coulibator is.
I just think
when I use. Sorry.
No, you're good, Marshall. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say when I used, I still have one just as like a backup somewhere. I think it's down in the basement in storage. But problem I had with it is by the time it would, at least when you opened it up, the temperature would spike when you closed it. So like it was like you closed it, and then by the time the thermostat cut off, there was enough residual heat in there that the temperature kept going up by a degree or 2 or 3, even after the thermostat had killed power. So what I would have to do is I'd sit there and watch it. And then once the temperature reached a set point and the thermostat shut off, I would just like come back every, couple minutes and open the top and fan it and just let some of the heat out and then close it so that it wouldn't spike too high over whatever I had it set at. That was the biggest problem I saw with them.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about a bigger incubator. It's got that heat reserve. Whether you put big bottles of water or you have pan of water in there that acts as that heat sump. I don't think you get that drastic like when I open my incubator and close it back up, a minute later, there's no change in temperature.
Yeah.
I think those Wilbank incubators look really nice.
I've heard good things about those. I haven't used them, but I've heard good things about them.
I haven't. Sorry, just want to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear everything.
I'm being a hypocrite. I'm just being honest. I heard
kind of like they're expensive, so I'm like, I don't want to spend all this money if they're just the same as the other, like the sea serpents and the other ones.
Yeah, I forget what it was. There's a group of people who were like they were all coming forward about their incubators, fucking like just going out on them, like something about a fuse going out or something, and only having it for less than a year. And I don't know if that got fixed, but goddamn, I don't have the time to fucking lose anything. Especially if I'm going to be spending that much money on an incubator. Nothing works than like what I have here at home. So I'm good. I don't know.
Well, we've talked about this many times, have a backup for your backup, right?
Big time.
Yeah.
Whether, you've got 2 incubators or you have 2 different sets of heat for your incubator or, whatever it is, when you're talking about a clutch that's as valuable to us, we worked so hard, to get eggs. You really want your incubator dialed in and I cut my teeth incubating ball pythons. It took me, several seasons, to dial in my incubator and my egg boxes and all that. And then you know my story. I had an incubation disaster this year after all that time. So it's tough when you make it that far and you have viable eggs and you put them in there and then you see them not go the way that they should go. It's tough.
Hatching ball pythons is very fucking forgiving compared to chondros as far as like room for error in the incubator. I mean, still you got to have some sort of consistency, but if you want to go into that egg box every day, I mean, you're going to be fine. I mean, you don't need to. But I do know with chondros, at least from what I'm experienced, like the less hands-on you can be for those first few weeks, the better. And until they get to that point where the heat rises in that egg box, then you need to get in there, give them some air, fuck with them, you know what I mean? Give them what they need at that point, because I feel like that's the huge adjustment period, day 40. And then that's kind of where you have to baby them from that point on, But
and in those coolibators, Lisa, correct me, or Marshall if I'm wrong, you can't see in there unless you open it, right?
Yeah, see.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's what was cool about Damon's design. You put some acrylic.
Yeah, like a lid
Over so the acrylic just sets over so it's you can see, you open it and some of the heat dissipates, but there's still that barrier of the acrylic.
I see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool little design, and there's like fans in there, and there's all the condensation in the water, so there's like some water pans in there, and so you get a lot of water too.
Is there a fan? Is there a fan in those things?
Yeah, the fan is set up right over the water pans, and they're facing, so the air's like circulating from side to side, kind of like in a circle.
Maybe you only need one fan.
I don't know. So far like them dimpling has never like caused any problem.
That's good.
I mean, so 13 of the eggs out of the 19, I think it ended up being like 19. I can't remember now, but so 13 of the eggs, they went the distance, and after like a few pipped, I was all excited. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, cool. Okay, now I need to pip them, and I started to. I was like, I'm gonna cut them and put them in the paper towel, but they start, like when you cut them and there's like blood.
Yeah.
I had a bad experience with cutting the white lips. Like I cut one of the white lips, set it down, and then went to pick up another egg to cut it. And the egg that I had just cut, the baby shot out of it and ripped its umbilical and like died.
Damn.
So I think I started having like, some stress about it. So I thought, I'm not going to cut these. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I got the idea that, I'm not going to cut them, but they are kind of dried out. And so I just put them all in the tub with the moist paper towel, and then I spritzed them all with water, and then just left them in the incubator. And then
you actually physically sprayed the eggs with water?
Yeah, but it was after the two of them had already pipped, and then I cut. I think I ended up cutting 3 of them before I quit, and then I just thought, well, maybe if I dampen the eggs, it'll be easier for the babies to pip out of them. And they all did, except for one. One ended up not hatching, and I cut it open, and it looked like a good baby, but it had died and didn't absorb its yolk. So I did up with 12 babies. And so far, all of them but one are eating. One still won't eat, and I'm just giving it the assist feeds with the chicken gizzards. Thank you, Bill, for that.
Good. I hope it pulls through.
Did the 3 that you pipped go on to hatch?
Yep, they all did. The blood didn't matter.
Yeah, and so I'm curious, how long did it take for them to actually all emerge out of the egg? Like, I know some take longer than the others. Did they all come out around the same time?
A few of them did take longer. Most of them hatched right around, like, the first 2 that pipped, they came out sooner, and then the rest of them, except for like 2 or 3 of them, hatched the next day. And then And then those took like a day or two more. But they do the thing where they'll pip and they just want to sit in their egg.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that. I had one baby white lip like sit in its egg so long that it started to smell like rancid. And I'm like, you need to get out of there.
Yeah, getting a little too comfortable in there, I think.
Yeah, that's gross.
So, and I'm curious, you know, obviously with you seeing them starting to emerge, did you separate them right away? Did you let them kind of chill for a bit, for a day or two? Like, what was your method as far as getting them all settled in and whatnot?
Well, I took him out and set him up. Ryan said to do that because he said it could mess with the other babies that weren't
Ready.
Yeah. And I just put them in their tubs, and I waited for them to shed. And as soon as they shed, I waited like a day or so and then started offering them food.
Yeah, and they all started eating pretty good. I mean, not all of them, but
not really. Only one of them really started eating.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't like, I didn't want to pussyfoot around. If they were not eating, I was just like, okay, pick you up, put some chicken gizzard in your throat, and then let you swallow it.
And then how long, like, what would you say average? How many assist feeds before they would go on and take a meal?
Some of them went pretty long. Like, we're talking like a month of me having to assist feed them. Like, and
How often were you doing it?
Like every, like it was whenever I had time. Like if I woke up an hour early before work, I'd feed some and then I'd feed some. So it was a few times a week.
Okay.
Now they're pretty good. I still have to tease feed them. Like they're still wanting to tease feed some of them. But that one that ate right away, it's like double the size of all the other ones. Because one time I accidentally fed, you know, like I said, I was getting up early in the morning and feeding them. And I was like, oh, right, that one ate. And then I pulled its card and I'm like, oh no, it was the one that I just fed yesterday. So that one ate 2 days in a row.
I said this a while ago when I was establishing that clutch that I had good success with last year. I had one that just loved chicken legs or the chicken thighs, or not chicken thighs, the mouse thighs. My bad. And I wasn't paying attention. I ended up giving it back to back, and I was like, wait a minute, I never gave any baby Neo 2 meals before, so I was kind of fucking concerned. And
yeah,
Ryan
that's
Young,
how I felt.
Ryan Young's like, she's like, shit, man, I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, never mind. So,
well, yeah, and it was like so fat. I was like, whoa.
yeah. So
it turned into shed after that, and now it's a big baby.
So how many are still being assist fed right now?
Just one, and I named it. Was like the cutest one too. I shouldn't have named it because I was like, oh, it's so cute. I named it Lisa. I named it Lisa. I didn't name it after me. It looks like Lisa Simpson because it has these big eyes, and you know how the Simpsons kind of have yellow skin, and so I was like, oh, it looks like a Simpson.
Like I've never named a condor after myself.
It's not named after me, Bill. It could be a Bart. It's either, I decided since it doesn't want to eat, I decided its name is Maggie because Maggie's kind of a little jerk. Like Lisa's the good kid, and that one's not a good kid. It's bad. It's funny because it's like, it's not, you know how some of them, you can tell they don't want to eat because they're afraid of you. You know, like they're looking at you instead of really looking at the food.
Yeah.
This one doesn't act afraid at all. It just does not want to eat. It like runs. Oh, I've had I had every kind of bad like behavior from these babies. I have runners. I had one that like where they strike and then you think they're gonna wrap it, but then they just throw it, like throw the food away, and then you know, I have some that like wanted, actually, I didn't really have a lot of head tuckers, but mostly they were like, they would want to run or they would just be like pissed off but afraid of me, I could tell.
And when they finally turned on for you, was that like after a shed or was it like after, did you open the tub and they just looked like they were going to eat, or did you still have to tease them or what?
Well, I think I was getting better at it. Like, that's what I think it was. I was getting better at teasing them. And maybe they all did. They would shed, even the ones that I was assist feeding. They shed, and so maybe getting a little size on them, and then my technique and figuring out what kind of things would entice them to strike. I would say that what is your friend's name, Bill? The redheaded guy?
Alex.
Yeah. Alex his video really helped me a lot, watching him tease feed his baby. And then I also watched the video that Sal did with you. When you showed how you assist feed the chicken gizzard. That helped me a lot too.
Okay, good.
Big thanks to you guys.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad that worked out. It sounds like your clutch was all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no red babies yet. Maybe someday.
Oh, come on. Not that you care. You love the yellows. You're all about the yellows.
I do. I like them all, but I want them all. You know, I want to see a red baby too.
Yeah. What's your game plan with your hatchlings? Are you gonna eventually start selling some, or like how are you gonna figure out which ones you want to hold back?
I'm just gonna keep them until I see what they look like.
All right, good old Marshall Mendez technique. Don't sell them.
It's the best way.
Yeah. Their dad, he has a little white, but he has a lot of blue on him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping, because I really love Alex's aquaberry.
Yeah.
So if I could get some aquaberry looking animals with some white on them, that would be really cool. That's what I hope. You know, I'm hoping some of these babies turn out. Some of them have some really nice, you know how you guys probably don't know a lot about yellow neos, but some of the babies have like darker pattern on them where it's like black. And then some, it's more like a bluish, like faded color. And then some of them have like thick bands around their flowers. I call them, what do you guys call them? The pattern, like the outlines, like really thick. And then some of them, I watched Gary Shavito say how to pick babies, you know, because people are always asking him, how do I pick? Which one do I want to pick? And he's like, pick the one that has the least amount of pattern. But I'm like, oh, I bet, because I'm like all about the ones with the heavy pattern. I'm like, ooh, I like this one. This is the one I want to pick. And then I have a few that they all have pretty good pattern, but there's a few that have less pattern. And I'm always like, oh, I bet Gary would say to pick this one.
Okay, the thing with yellows, even if you try to go pattern, you're still like, you don't know, like that's and it's like that with reds. Like we've had multiple scenarios where people said that their dark reds went green, but it's just very like if it comes from Marshall or Bill or it's the odds of something that dark red going basic green is very, very unlikely. Now with the yellow, you could have something with reduce or something with heavy pattern, and it could still just go fucking normal green. It's hard to really know,
In my experience, if you look at yellow adults, the adults that were yellow babies, all their blue, the pattern that they get as adults, it's from their pattern.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed for sure.
So if you want an animal with a yellow neo that you want to turn with a lot of blue, then you would want to pick one that has a lot of pattern. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
That's what I'm guessing will happen. And you can tell, like, sometimes, like, you know how the sarongs, their pattern looks like a drip, like they have the line down the back, and then the pattern looks like a drip.
Yeah.
And then the arus have more like the little like flower like blotches. Yeah. And you can tell like they have the drip pattern on the sarongs, the blue, but some have like powder blue and some have more like the ultraviolet blue. And I like the ultraviolet blue. And the dad and the mom like the mom, she's an aru, so her blue is kind of different because she's old too. You know how like when they're older, their pattern kind of like spreads. I don't know. I can't really see her pattern is what I'm trying to say. But
Did
I
that
got
female
Neo.
did that female turn hormonal blue?
No, she turned like this like grayish color, like this grayish blue.
Yeah,
like
I couldn't
kind
tell.
of like greenish gray.
Yeah, it's like metallic, like light, like grayish, like bluish looking, like a silverish blue. I could bring it back up, but I was gonna say out of all the Neos that I was looking at on that you sent me, I like this one a lot.
So when they first hatch, their pattern is red, and then it slowly like gets darker to black.
Right.
The one I like, there's some that their pattern, it's like a tiger stripe. It goes all the way it goes from the dorsal and then it spreads all the way down, it's really cool. It has a lot of pattern, and I hope that turns blue, but I don't know if it will.
Going back to questioning what the male could possibly be, the fact that this is all yellows in the clutch.
He was a yellow Neo. I got him.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know if you know. Okay, I didn't know you got him that young. Okay, and remind me again your guess of what. I mean, I guess it's really hard to tell when they're not really.
Well, I kind of was thinking he looked kind of like he could have poultry, like sarong type animal in him, but and then also that is what God, I'm forgetting everyone's name. Patrick Holmes. You know.
Wow. Patrick.
If you're going to ask someone, what do you think? He's a good guy to ask. Like, what do you think this is? Because, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm really excited to watch these guys change.
Yeah. So,
the fun part.
Definitely the fun part. But let's kind of talk about what you could pair up in the next year or so, or actually, what you have you have a BAC female, right, or something?
Yeah, but she's still pretty young, small. She's small. She's. I sent you a picture of her.
Pull her up.
It's towards the end of the group of photos that I sent you.
Is it the high yellow looking one, the one with like a lot of good high yellow pattern?
Yeah, but I think some of that could fade out to green. She's got a really nice. So I wanted, because I have that BAC that has he's like a lime color, but he has a lot of white scales in him. That's what I love about him. And because I wanted to pair like a white scale BAC to a white scale BAC. And she has some whites, but she's a red. She was a red Neo. But she has some white scales, but not very many at all. But one exciting thing about her is if I bred her with that male, then I could get yellows and reds.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, is that always the case, Bill? Like if you have a red non-dominant neonate to a yellow, there's still a chance that whole clutch could be yellow, right?
No, it should be 50-50.
Okay.
Because the red's dominant over yellow.
Well, it should be, right? But just like ball pythons, when you're trying for an albino and it should be 1 out of 4 and it's 3 out of 4.
Sure.
Or you're trying, so yes, on the average, yes. And it's like your experience with the female that you thought was red dominant, and she had a whole clutch of red babies before.
Yeah.
And then she had a yellow this year.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, so if she ended up being like homozygous for red, then all of their babies would be red?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if your BAC was a red neonate and it happened to be homozygous red or red dominant, then it doesn't matter what you would breed it to; they would all be red. But if it's carries one red gene, one yellow gene, and you breed it to a female that's yellow, then you should get half yellow, half red.
Yeah. This was a yellow neonate, right, Lisa? Or am I tripping?
I'm pretty sure he was. He was mostly changed when I got him.
Okay.
But I think so. Like I could never really see his pattern. And his eye, he has like the stripe in his eye. Isn't that one way how you know if it was a red or a yellow? You look at the stripe on the eye.
I used to think that, but I've been thrown off like that before, so it's hard to really tell for me unless I'm raising it myself. It's hard.
Yeah.
I think you could be right. I mean, I do see a different, I see more of a silver coloration in the yellow neonates versus the reds that have like more of the darker red looking eyes, you know?
Yeah, because I do have a red male, but he is really plain. He's like he's like a light green color, and he has faint. You can faintly see his dorsal pattern, but it's very faint. And
How did you know he? How did you know he was red? Did you get him as a neo, or did somebody tell you he was red?
That's the one that ate the chicken gizzard.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he is in shed the day I was trying to take pictures for MJ, so I didn't take a picture of him.
I want to get your opinion here, Lisa, because you have some great locality stuff. But I'm curious, like once this stuff all gets to maturity, are you going to be doing some locality crossing pairings? Are you against that? Are you going to add a designer from like Bill or Marshall someday and throw things into the mix? Like, what's your game plan?
I mean, if I am able to raise up some of these babies and pick out a nice matching pair, then I would put them together, because I think these babies, even though they're all yellow, I don't like, if I ever sold them, I would sell them as I don't know what you would call it, because I don't know what localities that they are, because that male I don't know, so I just have
cross maybe
cross unknown.
And most importantly, U.S. captive bred. That's how you would describe it.
But I want to, for the record, guys, I want to make this is an honest.
I actually was kind of disappointed, because I really wanted that other room male to breed with her. Oh yeah. Oh God, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Hey, I was going to ask you guys now, if you bred a BAC to an Aru, it doesn't make it a designer, right, Bill? That's not what a designer is, correct?
No, it's just a locality cross.
Okay, but what if you do that back into each other again? Like I'm talking, you know what I mean? That's what I'm wondering. Like, at what point is it considered a designer?
Yeah, I don't think there's a straightforward answer to that. Marshall, what would you say?
I mean, in my opinion, if you're selecting even same locality snakes to pair together, then you're trying for a certain look, like high white or high yellow or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still designer, because you're not putting the two. You're not putting. Yeah, Ryan. You're not putting the two. You're not putting the two plain ones together to make them look like what you would find out there. You're putting together the best of the best. And to me, I mean, that's what a designer is. You're trying to change it from what it should be or wants to be into something that you want it to be.
Well,
so
to me,
I feel like designers, though, it's like it's a brand name, like it's like the design. What do you have? Tiger stripes.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Lisa.
Sorry.
I think there's a difference between. I think there's a difference between selective breeding localities and a true designer. I think they're different. I think they're both on the same path, but I think
you're not wrong. I was just making a joke just make sure Ryan was watching.
Because it's a known trait that animal passes down, right? Like it's
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it's not as predictable, I don't think, as it just depends what lines you're working with. Some lines are pretty predictable. You breed this with that, you're going to get mostly, unusual or different looking offspring. Just depends how potent the bloodline is that you're working with. You can breed two crazy ones and also get solid greens too.
So I hear you talk about tiger stripe, right? Is that
yes?
One of the
yeah, tiger stripe is a bloodline.
What is it known for? Is there a certain look it's known for? Because I know calico is like a really modeled with different colors.
Yeah. Tiger stripe is more of I would say it gives it more of a yellow, more high yellow, high orange. They tend to have a lot of orange. They have a specific look. It's not totally unlike calico, but there's other, calicos have some kind of other traits, like the the speckling, whatever different color it's going to be going up the neck, is pretty common with, I mean, not all of them, but a good percentage of them have a real spotted or spotted speckled neck. So yeah, I mean, Tiger Stripe is similar to it in that it does, Tiger Stripe seems to add black specks too, like mite phasing. So I don't know. This is the one. I have one baby from last year that was Tiger Stripe bred to calico, and it's turning out pretty amazing so far. And it was just it's the only one I have from that clutch, so that survived. So I don't know if that's just a fluke or if they all would have looked like that.
Do the neonates have like a stripe down their back? Is that why they named it that?
Yeah, why do they call it Tiger Stripe?
Yeah,
I never understood.
You know, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Because I'm pretty sure Rico started it, and I'm pretty sure I was going through the pedigree charts that I had that I managed to find, and I think there was just like one green female. She wasn't even anything super special looking that would throw all of what, you know, that's the female that got, you know, got the bloodline, that the bloodline got its name from because of the offspring she would throw. But I don't remember her. I don't remember, at least in the picture that I saw, that she was anything super special.
Maybe that's just what her name was.
Yeah, maybe he thought about it at his favorite Chinese restaurant or something. Like, who knows? Like, it could be fucking anything. I guess that's the beauty of it. So, Bill, I got to ask you, like if someone asks you the line that you have in your designer collection, would you just say Jaeger mainly, or Sickness? Like, what is it that you say?
You know, I never really referred to the Sickness as a line because he didn't produce with enough different females to be consistent. Like my classic example of a line is Mosaic. Like Mosaic, you know, was bred to multiple females, and all the clutches had badass Mosaic looking babies.
Like a stamp to them.
Yeah, I mean, and so I've never referred to any of my offspring as really Sickness line. Other people have, but really it's not Sickness line. It's really not Jaeger line. It's really von Mierup line would be the technical term, because he's the one that produced melanistic animals, generations before the Sickness was ever hatched. So unfortunately, the Sickness just never produced enough animals that I would consider it a line. It just so happens that Jaeger's offspring, the Sickness and others, happen to be capable of throwing a lot of melanistic animals. So,
like that's not the case for Jaeger. Jaeger's went through a bunch of bitches. Like he went nuts.
Yeah, he did, and he threw melanistic animals from multiple females, but he came from a melanistic background himself. So he just happened to be a very prolific breeder from, again, what I would call the von Mierup line.
Interesting.
So.
He has it on both sides, right?
Yeah. If you look, the great thing about Jaeger is kind of like Versace. He his lineage is so well documented for so many generations that you can look back and see the traits in many of his predecessors. So, I mean, again, that's we're MJ, to answer your question, when does locality to locality off, outcrosses, when does that become a designer? Is it 2 generations? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it you finally produce an animal that can produce consistent traits?
Right.
Whether it's blue or black or yellow, I think that's when you have, a designer.
Right. Or if you get a designer already, like a male from you, and it goes to a pure locality, then that's still a designer, correct? Because of that male in the bloodline?
Technically, that's a designer outcross.
Designer
designer to a locality, which I've done many times. Again, it's a designer outcross, whatever term you want that to be.
So I won't be having my pure first designer clutch. Possibly, I'm gonna have a designer outcross clutch, which I'm so cool with.
That's what I would call it. But that's how the sickness was hatched. The sickness was a designer outcross. A designer bred to a Wamena locality produced the sickness.
Awesome. And with that being said, Lisa, like a lot of the like in the beginning stages, I just know just like when anything else, you go apeshit on researching and you're looking for information everywhere. Like, how much was the locality stuff an interest to you before even knowing the designer stuff, or did you know about the designer stuff first?
It kind of like hurts my heart that my first Chondros aren't like a pure locality.
That's it, huh?
Like, so to make matters worse, about a month after, or I can't remember, but so that younger Aru male, he was like pacing his cage, tearing it up. He wasn't eating, so I thought, well, I'm gonna put him, because he really loves it in that other, and he's really awesome. Like he'll get up and perch like right up at the front. He's really beautiful to have in that cage back there. Yeah. And so I put him back in there, not thinking anything. He's in there because that's Fiona's enclosure, and I wasn't paying attention, and I go over there to like change the water or something, and he's locked up with her. And I'm like, you're like 2 months late or 3 months late or whatever, you little jerk.
Lisa, are you keeping
locked up with her? Like,
Lisa, are you keeping yours in bioactive?
Yeah, well, I don't call it bioactive, but yeah, there's dirt in there, and there's
live plants and dirt.
I did set up so for her nest box, I put a little like I got one of those little like tiny trash cans you get at the Office Depot, and I like hung it on the wall and stuffed a bunch of sphagnum in there and put a little heat mat on it, and she did go in it. But then I thought, I'm not even gonna. So I just put her in the rack tub, like rather than.
You're talking about when she's getting ready to lay? Is that?
Yeah, I gave her a little nest box, and she did. I never saw her in it, but I know she went in it because there's sphagnum. She put sphagnum moss all over.
Oh wow! Let's talk about your dirt substrate. What kind of dirt are we talking about here?
Like plant dirt, like
soil.
Yeah.
And how often are you cleaning that? I'm sorry, Bill. How often are you cleaning that? Like, what's your regimen of like keeping that like clean?
Like once a month.
So you gut it out and then put new soil at once a month?
No. I just go through and like pick up any like turds.
So what's the difference between that and a true bioactive? I don't understand. You have
like I didn't put bugs in there to try to like clean up the poop.
Clean the soil.
The dirt. So I was going to do bioactive, but well, I originally wanted to plant the plants in the dirt, but I don't do that. I just those are just potted plants in there.
Well, they're in a pot.
And they'll grow. Like at one point I had it was really cool. I put the passion flower vines in there, and the passion flower vines filled the whole thing up, overtook it.
Oh wow!
But the problem is they grew so much, and they created like a dead understory. They took all the light, and they just grew right up to the light. So I had to rip out probably every 12 to 15 months. I'll go through there. The plants will start to because I'm not really a plant person, but I can keep a plant alive for about a year. And then once it's time to repot it, I just suck at repotting. I've never had a really good repotting experience. So I just go buy new plants and start over.
Are those like pothos plants? Is that what they call that?
Yeah, pothos works really well. I really wanted the passion vines to like do well in there because there's passion fruit where green tree pythons live, and they actually will go to the passion vines and hunt there, because when they're fruiting, the mice and rats and stuff come and eat the passion, the fruit. And so I just thought it would be so cool to have a passion vine in there, but it doesn't work out inside of vivarium because of what I said.
So it's just, yeah. So basically you found that pothos just works best for
pothos. I've done begonia. I actually put in a little jalapeno pepper in there, but I didn't water it enough, like so it died.
Damn, you crazy girl.
So all your enclosures are decked out like that?
No, I have actually, most of mine are in like little like 2x2s, and they're ugly, and I never take pictures of them in there. But
only one gets special treatment.
Paper, and I use a big water bowl. I use bigger water bowl than I think most people do, because that helps with humidity. I do have some pothos plants in a few of the enclosures, but it just adds more cleanup. Like it makes the enclosure dirtier. I don't really have shedding issues.
Nobody cares about how the enclosure looks if the chondro looks awesome, right? I mean,
the lighting's not. What I mean is, like, the lighting's not good, and you know what I mean. Like, you can't get a good picture of your snake inside there.
Yeah, I would say, Bill, there's some fucking shitty setups out there, so I would be careful how you say that. Okay.
I would say that there are definitely people that will comment on your caging if they don't like it. Tell you everything you're doing wrong.
Or if you take a picture of a nice chondro and your laundry's on the floor or something. And
if I had more room, I would build another one of those, because I really enjoy it. But like, it's so cool because every night they come out, and like, especially that male, like, he perches up, and then I have the blue lighting, so it looks like it highlights the white speckles on them. They look so cool, being able to like hang down at their full body length and do like the hunting posture. And then I hate it when people say that green tree pythons aren't smart, because they are. That snake learned right away what side of the enclosure I open, and that's where he goes and hunts. He waits right there.
That was Stephen Cush who made that statement, and I think Stephen was a little out of pocket. Okay, the guy had minimal experience with green tree pythons.
Yeah, he's not the only one, though. A lot of people.
He went viral. He went viral on Adam's channel over it.
Listen, I'm in the Cush corner here. I think they're stupid as fuck.
Emeralds are stupid. Okay,
I've seen them. I've seen chondros try to kill themselves.
Well, mine are geniuses.
Yeah, I would leave some. Mine are just psychotic eaters, but they're smart as shit, and they know what the fuck's up. Emeralds, on the other hand, like Ryan Young says, short bus all day. Emeralds are short bus keepers all day, dude.
Listen, I will defer to you guys because you keep them both, but I will still contend chondros will try.
I have seen them when they do that thing when they like strike and miss, but then they just like still try to constrict.
Oh God, you got to. Yeah, it's nothing you can do. They'll let it go. I mean, I've had. Go ahead, Bill.
Any snake that will try to eat a puppy pad, I just can't call them smart. I'm sorry. I mean,
well, when you have teeth like that, I mean, anything's gonna stick to your mouth. Like, I don't think it's their fault. I mean, I think it's really. Anytime I've had a fucking goddamn chondro strike down and hit the puppy pad, it missed. It just, and that's why I always do that thing that you said, Bill. Offer up top, don't offer on the bottom. You know what I mean?
I've learned because I've seen them ingest, and I know Marshall has as well. I've seen them ingest puppy pads.
Oh, I pulled some out for sure. Dude, that's why I remember my whole rant a year ago. I did a YouTube video saying puppy pads are the devil, because I like. Multiple times I had to pull some out of their fucking halfway down their throat.
So that's the animal you're calling smart?
I rest my case. I'm done.
Just because they go to the cage the side of the cage that you feed them in doesn't mean that they're smart.
Hold up, time out. That was an emerald. I just remembered these were emeralds that were doing this, not chondros.
Okay.
For the record. So Lisa, you and I, we have smart chondros. Bill doesn't, but he does have nice ones. Maybe it's a designer thing.
Maybe it's a designer deal. Yeah. No, I would agree.
California chondros rule.
I bet you chicken gizzards make them smarter for sure.
I did have one interesting thing that happened with the babies. When I grabbed one and was trying to assist feed it, it was freaking out, and it did the thing, I think you guys call it cigar back, where it inverts itself like that.
I've yet to see that. Knock on wood. I don't ever want to see that.
It's really scary. So I just grabbed him, put him back to normal, and kind of like gave him like a chiropractor. I did
I was just gonna say that, like a chiropractic adjustment,
manipulation.
Fine, straight.
You manipulated
it. So far, he looks okay.
You bent him back down, like you literally went and broke him back down, or what'd you do?
Yeah, I put him back down and kind of like did a little move on him, like kind of.
Oh, I want to see this move.
I gave him an adjustment. So
an adjustment.
Yeah,
I've never tried that. I've always just left them be, and they usually spring back. Yeah.
Well, it's
I've
so
never
scary looking. I was like, oh damn it! It happened really quick. It was just like I just saw it and did it.
That was from your recent.
Yeah.
One of those. You had one of those
just now, like just this year.
Just
like
one, or how many? How many did that?
Only one.
And it was spazzing out.
So far, I've been trying to see if I can tell where it happened, but so far I don't see anything. But I named that one Cigar.
Yeah, I was very new to the whole cigar thing, so I think was it Ken Deal, or who came on our show talking about the cigar stuff? I think it was Ken, or maybe it was I forgot who it was. You guys remember who it was who talked about the cigar back stuff? Was it?
It was like he was just freaking out, and then he just was like, bent himself the wrong way.
No, you haven't had a lot of that, right?
I have not. I've had it once. I can only think of one time that I've had a cigar back, but it wasn't temporary. It was permanent. I didn't see it happen again.
And Mark, you've had a few on your side.
Oh before? Yeah. Over the years, I mean, the first.
Do you think he'll eventually that baby will grow up to have like a tweaked spine?
You know, it's weird. I don't know if they. I don't know if it depends on like how many times it happens or what, but it seems to always be in the same place. And I would say maybe 30-40% of them, it leaves a little, like a little kink, but like a little bump in the spine right at the point where it, folds back on itself. And the other 50-60% are, you can't tell. But I've never seen them do it bigger than hatchlings, neonate size, and I've definitely never seen an adult do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like you're talking about how your clutch being all over the place. It's better that it's this way now than later, right, Bill? Like get all this shit under your belt and see what it's like, because it's gonna happen at some point, as we always say.
Yeah. I have to say that I always thought, oh, you guys are over exaggerating how much time it takes to take care of these babies. But yeah, like especially when they were really little and I was feeding them like twice a week. The other thing is they do poop a lot, and you are constantly like cleaning their enclosures.
Poop a lot.
You have to spray. I have to spray mine. I spray them. I give them a little spritz in the morning and a little spritz in the evening.
Same.
Because they get real wrinkly, like crinkly looking real fast.
Yep.
Yeah. You got to keep them. You got to keep them pretty wet when they're young.
Yeah.
So wait,
the other thing that happened was this. So this rack that I put them in, it has these little holes. I put it together. It was like in the middle of the night, and I was staying up late putting like these racks together. And I guess I put the bottom piece up in the upper part, and I didn't notice it. And there's these two little holes, and I kept having two that were escaping. And I found like I would find them, and I thought it was because they were getting through the lip of the tub in the rack, but it was really those holes that I didn't realize were there. And one of them I found underneath the rack, ice cold. It looked like it was dead. It was just laying on its side, just motionless. And I grabbed it and I put it back in the rack, and like within 30 minutes, it was perched up.
Wow.
Hmm.
Good save.
Because the floor was so cold, I think it was just catatonic.
I didn't mention this, but there was one time where I was feeding all my chondros, my baby chondros from last year. I don't know what happened, but I stepped away, forgetting that I just fed one, and I came back and it was gone. And I found it the next day, but it was like, dude.
Oh, what? You left the tub open and it got out?
Yeah, I let the tub open, and then Lily needed me for something. I was gone for like.
When you find them, you feel like you just won the lottery or something. You're like,
yeah,
I can't believe I found it.
I will say, out of all the snakes that I've had escape or take off, chondros have been the easiest. Like they're
No
pretty.
doubt.
They're like, okay, there you fucking are. They find the closest little thing to perch on or
Yeah.
wherever, and you find them.
Perched on the plant that was like next to their to the rack.
Yeah, I'll tell you the best thing that ever never escape is there's been times where it's been a while, but like I'll be like, dude, when I used to have sliding doors, glass doors, I would forget to close it sometimes. And with emerald tree boas, they just fucking stay there the whole time. They never leave. So I will say, emerald tree boas.
I've got one. I've got a big female that has figured out how to slide. She can slide her door open, so I have to keep a lock on it. And
Yep.
she got out one time, and I came back and I noticed that like this was at my old snake room, and her cage was like right next to my like counter where I have like paper towels and like spray bottles of like water and chlorhexidine and whatever. And I came in and all the shit on my counter was knocked over and the plant was knocked over. And I was like, man, what the hell happened here? Started looking around, and she had actually gone back into her cage. She came out, made a mess, and then went back into her cage.
Wow.
She's like, hey,
Yeah.
ain't nothing out here for me. I'm going back.
Okay,
Rough out on these.
I have a
Rough out these
story
streets out
about
here.
a snake. This was when I first started keeping. I had my carpet python. She's like a big 5-foot carpet python, right? And my friend had some rats, like a mom rat, a dad rat, and like a juvenile rat. And she gave them to me. She didn't want him anymore, so I didn't have anything to put him in. So I just put him in this like tub inside my reptile room. And it was the weekend, and I went somewhere and I came back, and the tub was
Shit.
knocked over, and I was like, oh my God. And I look, and I see that the carpet python's enclosure was like, I don't know if she opened it or if I just didn't slide it all the way, like you said. And I found the baby rat, right? The young one. But the mom and the dad, I couldn't find them. And then I was like, where's my snake? I'm looking around for my snake. And she's sitting in her enclosure under the heat. She looked like she ate a football.
Oh my
Ate
gosh.
the mom rat and the dad rat.
I've only ever had one chondro that could push the glass open on a completely closed glass. And for like 2 weeks, I blamed Alex. I go, Alex, you gotta freaking close these glass doors when you finish. And he goes, dude, I promise I'm closing them. And that thing could wiggle these heavy 1/4-inch glass door open. So I have one lock on all of my chondro cages. And I still think Alex was at fault, but anyway, I have one that has a lock on it.
I said we keep blaming Alex, keep it on his toes. You know what I mean? Hey, all right. So, Lisa, we're at the wrap-up topic of the episode. I'm going to go first, and then we'll go with Bill or Marshall, okay? With all this excitement of having your first chondro clutch, what are you most excited about breeding in the future? Like if you could keep this ball rolling with the chondros, is that more important than the white lips or everything else? I'm just curious what the priority is at this point.
It's hard to pick, but I think I'm more excited about the white lips.
And okay, now give me a reason why. Just because you feel like it's more of your bread and butter, and you got that down more, or what was the reason for that?
Well, maybe that's why, because I know more about them. And also they're kind of more fun. Like they're kind of like really like it's an adventure with them. And the green tree pythons are really hard work.
Respect.
True.
All right, cool. Who wants to go next, Bill or Marshall?
I'll go.
Go ahead,
Or
Marshall.
go ahead. I was just going to ask. We didn't really talk about the white lips. I know you've had several clutches of them.
Yeah.
How have they been to establish and to get going? Are they pretty easy?
Yeah, cakewalk. Like they do these little. They get up. You open the tub and they're like standing up, like not like a cobra, but like the most pissed off python you've ever seen. And you just show them the little mouse or pinky or whatever, and they just like they're like, give me that thing, and they like, I'm gonna kill that, and then I'm like, where are you? I'm gonna kill you next. Like, they're so easy. Like I talked to Ryan about it after I hatched the babies, and he's like, yeah, just so you know, these aren't gonna be like the white lips. And they're not. But it is fun, actually. I'm making it sound like I don't like it. I adore trying to like figure, like I really feel like I learned the process like of getting these babies established. Like I got to a point where like slowly you learn the technique of like, yeah, you kind of have to hit them with the mouse, and you have to like poke them on this side of their neck, or like hit them underneath on their tail.
Some of them
run,
they're all different.
Run to the back of the tub when they're cornered, kind of see if they'll take it then, because sometimes when they're cornered, they'll like, I have to kill this thing, and then they'll take it. That is fun, but it's just when you have to like go to work and you don't have a lot of extra time, it can be like you're up late at night trying to get them to eat. That's why I was like, I don't have time for this, and I just started picking them up and putting the food in their mouth.
Yeah. I would agree 100%. We, Alex and I both have gone way to the stop spending 45 minutes trying to get this thing to eat and drive yourself crazy. Just assist feed it and try another day.
But I mean, the green tree pythons, as far as like having a display animal and something that you really love to look at, you can't really do that with the white lip pythons. Like there's a lot of really, really good things about green tree pythons that you can't get with the white lip pythons, because white lip pythons are pretty aggro. Like they'll, if you're walking around in here, they might get pissed off and hit their face in the glass or something. Yeah.
All of them, even the captive bred ones, do that.
They do it more.
Oh wow.
They're like, they don't have any. I don't know why, but the F1. I've only had F1s. I haven't had F2s, but yeah, the F1s, they're pretty aggro.
Yeah, well, I can tell you firsthand, nothing has made me bleed more than a fucking white lip python bite, for sure.
Their bites don't really hurt though. Their teeth are really small.
Have you been bit by a full grown adult before, Lisa?
Oh yeah.
I got chewed on one time, and I didn't stop bleeding for like 3 hours.
Really?
I promise you. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't had one like bite down and like twist or rip.
Yeah,
I have had a green tree python bite me on my finger and then hold down and then rip back, and it looked like someone took a razor blade to the top of my hand, to the top of my finger. Boom, boom, boom.
My male bit me in my thumb, and I didn't even flinch. I just stood there, and he wrapped it and thought it was food. And then I was like, okay, now you're getting off. And when he let go, I had like 1,000 teeth marks.
They do have a lot of teeth.
Just pouring blood. Like I was like, oh my, and it didn't hurt. It was more shocking, but it would not stop bleeding. And because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you heard this, but white lips have the most teeth out of any python.
That's what I read too. I read that too.
Yeah. And they bite fucking hard, Bill. Like hard. And so And when I had a group of 8, when I ended up with just 2, I was so happy. I'm just saying, it's like you got to have that personality to be a white lip keeper, and you got to be like, you got to love it. And that's definitely you, Lisa. Like I love that. Ever since I've known you, like your thing has been the white lips, and you've gotten that shit down. So like I tip my hat to you for sure when it comes to that. All right.
Well, I haven't bred the Northerns yet.
I thought you have. Wait, I thought your first. Oh, wow. So you haven't bred Northerns. All right. Day by day. Bill, what's your wrap-up question?
So what's going to be your next pairing, Lisa? Next chondro pairing?
Well, hopefully that same female with the actual Aru.
Okay. So you want to get pure Aru localities.
Yeah, I would really like that.
And are you going to bring anything else into the collection short term, or you just stay with what you got?
So I have that Waiego, or I guess that's how you say it, the Waigeo locality male, but I don't know. He's really old, and I don't know if he has it in him to actually breed. But for now, I think I'm just happy with these 12 babies, and I feel like that's enough.
Focus on those.
I have a lot of stuff. I'm like, I don't really need anything right now. Like, but yeah. So maybe I was thinking a sarong female, but I don't know. I kind of feel good where I am. Like, I'm excited about these babies. I have, well, actually, I didn't mention, but Lucas Lee, I told him he gets to pick 2 babies out of the clutch because he's the one that sold me that female, and he hooked me up with her. So,
yeah, that's cool. Are you gonna wait? He gets to pick, or are you gonna pick?
Well, I'm picking, and then I'm like, okay, these are mine. You can pick out of the other ones. I mean, that's fair, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Especially when you keep them all, when you hold them all back. I was gonna give you 2, but I decided to hold them all back. So.
Hey, I was gonna say, are you gonna wait a little bit until they start changing before you let them?
Well, I thought so. This last weekend was the Sacramento Reptile Show, and I was thinking he was going to come out to it because he's out in the Bay Area and I'm in Sacramento.
Okay.
And I was like, well, if he comes out, then he could come over and pick out a pair, but he was busy, so.
Oh, there you go. Well, Lisa, love having you here. Can't wait to have you back. Give us an update on how everything's going. Where can people follow you? Where's the best place people can tap in with you at? Will you say Instagram or?
Instagram and Facebook. I'm on both of those, Lisa Farinha.
All right. I'll put the links in the description below, and I appreciate you coming through straight out for work, but give it up. It's a wrap for Lisa, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Lisa, congrats on the clutch.
Thanks
Yeah, definitely. Guys. Good luck going forward.
Have a good night, Lisa. Thank you for everything, okay?
Have a good night.
Peace. Awesome. Good episode. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
She likes what she likes, that's for sure. But what do you think of tonight's episode, Marshall?
Yeah, no, man. She's got a little bit of everything. I like a nice varied collection.
Yeah.
And it's cool that she likes the white lips so much, you know. That's a you know, like she was saying, it's a not a calm snake, and they're pretty good size. So I mean, even just like, you know, cleaning the tub, if that's what, you know, if you keep them in tubs, cleaning the tub, you got to get them out, you got to put them in another tub. I mean, so you're having to handle them, you know. They're I don't know, it just seems like to me they would be like as she described, you know, just
so, we all know we like to keep stuff that we could just open and pull out, right? You're not doing that with a white lip. You got to get a hook,
right?
You have to fucking where you at? Are you in a good mood right now? Are you not? Because you're gonna find out, and like it's just always game time with the white lip all the time. Like there's no there's no like, okay, look at this. Like, no, and mind you, she might have her ones that are more docile, but man, white lips are so unpredictable, bro. Like they go from being not caring about anything to now they're biting you. You know what I'm saying? Out of nowhere, no sign of anything. Like no, like let me look at you first. They just bite you. It's fucking crazy. and so I'm saying, even for guys, like, and I'm not trying to be sexist here. I'm just saying, even with guys, this is a tough species to keep, and she's a female. And it's her fucking bread and butter. That's why I tip my hat to her, man. But what do you think of tonight, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so cool to see somebody have success with their first breeding project.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it sounds like, you know, her clutch was just all over the board. Runners, head tuckers, a lot of assist feeding. But then she got to see, you know, the transformation. You know, the first time you have a baby that you have to assist feed and then it eats on its own, it's a really good feeling, you know, to cross that bridge. And So it sounds like she's done that. And, she said, and we've said a lot, you learn something from every clutch.
Yeah.
Every single animal in that clutch is different. You have to learn how to approach it differently on its feeding. Some want to be real aggressively tease fed. Some want you just to put right up to its mouth. And it doesn't even strike and wrap it. It just eats it real gently. And, until you learn all of that about every single animal and every single clutch, you're just always learning. And so it was cool to see her, get that experience. And it sounds like she had really good results from her first time breeding.
Yeah. How many times is the Gizzards going to be getting awards during episodes? I feel like this is the 5th episode in a row where we're giving the Gizzards flowers here, Bill. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just glad that it's helped people, and
sure, it's game changing.
So yeah.
All right. Well, you boys are awesome. I appreciate it. Marshall, I hope you get some good rest tonight, buddy. Sometime.
I'm gonna try.
Red Mountain Herps on Instagram, of course. The mayor, the Phoenix Reptiles on IG. Go subscribe. Appreciate you boys. Give it up. It's a wrap for Marshall Mendez and Bill Stiegel, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll see you next
week.
Next
time.
Marshall, I think you're out next week, right?
Are you?
What's that?
Are you out next
week, right?
Me? No.
No, he's good.
No. Wait a minute. Yeah, I may have. Yeah, I have lacrosse stuff next week. Yeah, the end of the year part banquets. So yeah, I am out next week.
Oh God, Alex Warren again.
Oh no, not that.
All right. Well, you boys have a good night, and I'll see you next week for sure.
I'll see you guys.
See you guys.
All right, guys.
See you guys later.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Select all. You'll be reminded of every podcast being dropped out of the network 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. Now, if you want exclusive content, you want to get more behind the scenes of what's happening with not only the podcast, but all my breeding stuff, get, first dibs on stuff, then come join the Trap Talk Patreon family. Do that by clicking the very first link in the description below. Before you guys leave, shout out my sponsors. You guys know the deal. Check it out. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor. It's Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to thereptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Broms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available green tree python wise and be ready for quite the 2025 green tree python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the green tree python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the green tree python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. Treat.